Hey, how's it going, guys? G1 Hextron here, and today we're taking a look at the Generations Legends 2-pack Tailgate and Groundbuster. I'm going to take a look at Groundbuster here starting off. Again, he looks like one of these micro changers that came back in the late 80s, early 90s, so about the same size there. Not as much detail. Does turn into his weapon and also a robot, so to go ahead and transform him into his robot, you just lift him up, and there he is. So, probably one of the worst little weapon things. Some of the other ones had a little bit more transformation, some of them didn't. Like the reflector really didn't have anything, but this guy's not too fantastic in my opinion. His arms are super long. I mean, all they are the little treads here for the excavator or bulldozer or whatever this thing's called. But go ahead and put those down. His weapon mode is not exciting either. So with all the rest of them, whatever they had kind of like Reflector, I think he had kind of a bad robot mode. But whenever you put him into his gun mode, you had like two different options. I kind of preferred the camera option. This guy, you just flip this down. I guess you could say he's got two different options. He can just be like that, which is just a bulldozer. I'm just going to call it a bulldozer, but a bulldozer setting in his hand, which is kind of strange looking. Or you can pull this out and you can see that little claw comes out, and this thing you can come down. So it reminds me of those guys that wear the orange vest on the side of the highway. You know, that they use these things to pick up trash and stuff. That's what this reminds me of. I'm not really sure what they were going for, but you can also plug it into the top of his hood, which looks even more ridiculous. Also, I'm not really sure how he can see out the front windshield, but you know, sometimes I think that they kind of overdo it. So, I mean, there's that little gimmick. We'll go ahead and you can, put it in there this way as well. I just think that Hasbro, you kind of overdo it sometimes. We don't need you to just overthink things. If you kind of just keep things simple, like you did with some of the other figures, then I think you would have been fine. But we'll move that guy off to the side. I do have one car comparison here. This is the G1 Wind Charger, so it's the same mold as the G1 Tailgate, so that's why I'm kind of using it here, so you can kind of get the idea of what they were going for. I believe this was a Trans Am. I'm almost certain, and maybe that's what this is. I guess that's what that is. I'm not really sure. But as far as the car, everything tucks in there nice. I mean, you can obviously see the head there, but everything else, it kind of folds up really nice. It does roll quite good on all four wheels, so that's something that is always, a good thing, and there's not something like that doesn't fold up properly, kind of keeping one wheel up. You do have some exhaust back here, but there's really, it's lacking in, kind of detail. Now, I get it, it's supposed to be a white car, and to kind of add a little bit of color to it, they put the little bluish teal looking flames up here, the Autobot logo. But I'm glad they painted the window silver, but still, you just can't get around the fact that it just looks kind of plain looking. It's not that exciting. I like colors in my vehicles. But let's go ahead and get into the transformation and his robot mode. First thing that we're going to do is just kind of lift up on these feet right here, and then you can start to pull this section apart and pull these doors out. These will just kind of bend right there to help you kind of get them out. If you want to put them in, you can see that it bends right here at the window, and you can put those in just like so. Oops. There we go. So that's what we'll do there. Bend that. Just kind of bend here at the window to help us get out of this door so we don't break any pegs. There we go. And we'll just kind of set those to the side. These right here, they're going to untab from this section here. And you can bring these down, bring these down. And this is actually going to swing up, but you're also going to rotate these ball joints here at the thigh. Go ahead and slide down with this section here on the side as well. Just swing those 180. And these will become the knees. Fold out the feet. And again, this section, once you get all that done, then you can go ahead and plug the exhaust into basically his waist section. Move the arms over here. This section will slide up and just kind of be, it's still his backpack, but it's not like hanging down anymore. Then with his arms, you're going to bend those forward and bring them around. Bend these forward, bring it around. And there you have Tailgate in his robot mode, which this is, to be honest, this is the worst one. Out of all of these little Legends figures, and I've got Bumblebee, Swerve, Shrapnel or Scrapnel, whatever his name is, Cosmos, and now this guy. This is the one that I could definitely say that if you're really only want to buy ones that are cool and fun to play with or interesting at all, don't get this one because he's not worth it. For one, his little gun thing, it's bad. Nothing wrong with this transformation really, but it kind of hinders his articulation. The robot mode, the card mode, they're not great at all. His card mode is actually better than his robot mode. His head, no articulation. The arm here does have a ball joint, but unfortunately because of where those pegs are in his backpack, it can't go back. Now you can kind of bend it in and move it that way, and you know, you're also going to do that. You might be scratching the paint on your windows there, so you know, it's at your own risk if you want to do that. So then his elbow, it can go up and down. It's on a ball joint, but it can't go out very far because it's hindered because of the way this design is. You can see that's as far as it can go out. As far as end, it's about the same right there as well. So really not a whole lot unless you just want to go up and down there. So this can go in and out like that. So that's pretty much it. No waist articulation. The legs do have a ball joint, so they can go this far up. They can't go any back, but you can bend with the knee here. I guess you could say they can kind of go out a little bit, but again, it's hindered by these little kibble pieces. It's just, it's a difficult figure to, if you wanted to put them in some dynamic pose, then you're really not going to get them in that. So that hinders that. It does bend at the knee. This could kind of go in, but again, it's going to be hindered by this section here. But the foot does go back and forth, which kind of helps out a little in posing this guy. Let's see if we can do something. I mean, that's pretty much the pose you're going to have him in. Again, he's not even looking towards you, so it's a little unfortunate. We'll put this thing in his hand, which is quite heavy, which, you know, hinders his pose ability. It just makes him fall forward because it's so heavy. We'll have to put him at a lean like that. There we go. So that's about as good as you're going to get a pose out of him. Do have Shrapnel or Scrapnel here for size comparison. So you can see that he's a little bit taller there. Here is Swerve. Guy's just not very fun to mess with, to be honest. Swerve's still a little bit taller, but almost head to head there. And for something that I'm looking forward to doing here pretty soon, just put him together yesterday. Here is the super deformed Gundam there, so you can see how small he is, but he's quite adorable. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Just my opinions, don't get this guy. It's not worth it. He's just crap unless you want to collect them all. So thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you guys later. Have a nice day.